Hi everyone, so I'm back with another photo organisation video. I decided to order the first half of the year's photos because my next set of photos will probably be my wedding ones, just depending on when they come back. But it just means the next part of the year there is going to be a lot of photos. So I thought if I got these ones printed and sorted, I don't have to sort of print those and then print the big bulk of everything else. So this is Monaco, Alicante, Tunisia, my Hindu, London and Bridlington. So 6 sort of batches, I guess. And obviously I'm nowhere near doing any of these albums, but I am actually getting through my little England ones that I wanted to do after the wedding, because I've been doing bits and pieces here and there, so it might actually be done before the wedding, which means when I get married and after the wedding, I can start moving on to some of my bigger trips, which will be Poland, the first one. So yeah, and obviously once the wedding's over, I'm going to have a lot more time, and I'll be looking for just peaceful, relaxing evenings of scrapbooking, I think, after 18 months of planning this wedding. So I am looking forward to just having sort of time to myself and time to not be thinking about a big event or thinking I always need to be busy. And I think it definitely doesn't help social media and all that sort of side of things when people are like, oh, wedding planning is so hectic, it's so busy, you've got so many things to do, you've got to do this, there's a load of checklists, like they're always saying you must remember to do this. And so it plays in your mind that you should always be busy. And actually I've not been that stressed with wedding planning. Things have actually gone quite smoothly. I've not really had any problems, touch wood. I shouldn't have said that when I've still got 15 days left to go. But it's all been pretty smooth, and because I'm quite an organised person as it is, I don't leave things till last minute, so I didn't really have to worry about that. And yeah, I just feel like the last 2 weeks before the wedding have been pretty chilled so far. So I will be looking forward to actually not having something to do. But as I said, it does play on your mind that you should always feel like you should be busy. But I will be 19th of July, I will wake up and be married and just enjoy that time and just enjoy the peaceful evenings with my new husband. So I am looking forward to that. I am actually I am an introvert, basically. I do love going out and seeing people and meeting new people and all that sort of stuff. I do enjoy it, but when I come home, I just like to decompress. So for me to organise this big event is not really my thing. Like, I don't host parties, or I don't really plan big things because I just suffer with anxiety and I just like my own space sometimes. And so to have this bigger wedding, it's not that big compared to some, but for me it's quite big, has been quite daunting. And so it's quite a relief to sort of think it's all in place and the organisation's done, and it should be a really good day, and I'm really looking forward to it. But it's definitely a bit daunting having all these people look at you and, you know, you being centre of attention when actually that's not my thing, really. But as I said, the main thing about the wedding, well, the reason why we're having a bigger wedding is because our families don't live near each other at all. So it's a good excuse to get people to meet people. Like Joe's family's never met my extended family, and the same the other way around. My family have never met my friends up here. So it's just a nice excuse to get everyone together, and I feel like that was the main reason for it, and I'm happy to host that because that's the one thing I really want to do, is just get our families and friends all together in one place and just celebrate. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. But yeah, so back to scrapbooking the side of things. So as I said, I wanted to get these photos printed because it just means that I can then print everything off straight away when I do have a big batch of stuff. So we are getting married on the 18th of July. I don't anticipate, obviously, the photos coming back. The professional ones, I don't anticipate the professional ones coming back for a good couple of weeks, but I'm sure I'll have loads on my phone. I'll probably get loads sent to me. I'm hoping people will send them to me. I do actually have a photo booth at the wedding, so that will be... I'll get the links to all those. I'll probably have them anyway. Like, I do get copies of them all, but I know that there's an online gallery, so if I've missed some, then obviously I can print those off as well. So there might be a couple of 100 photos before the professional ones themselves, so I can easily print those off, and then when the professional ones come in, I can print those off. But then after the wedding, we are going away for like a little break, just a little cottage in the middle of nowhere where we can just relax. But I obviously will be taking photos and we'll be doing bits and pieces whilst we're there. So that will be a little section in itself. And then I go to Munich, and then we go to Geneva in September, and then we go to Japan in November. And so between the wedding and the honeymoon, there's just going to be so many photos. So I just wanted to get a bit of a head start. So that's why I'm printing off these. So the top left, you've got Monaco, which was our first trip of the year. That was in January. Next to that is London, and then on the top right is actually Bridlington. So that was our latest little trip. We just went for a day trip, but we went to go see the puffins, and yeah, we did actually take quite a few photos, so I wanted to include that because that was a really fun day. And then the bottom right is my hen do. That's probably the biggest of all these photos. That was about 160 photos. They're not the best of photos, but obviously that depicts the night out, because obviously everything's a bit blurry, everything's a bit everywhere, but that's what I love about them. It's just a true reflection of the night rather than posed photos all the time. And then next to that is Alicante, we went to in March in Spain. And then the last pile, which Moose is going to conveniently sit on, is Tunisia, which is our latest holiday. That was April. So that was the last sort of holiday that we went on, but we did go to London and Bridlington after that, as like overnight and day trips. So yeah, quite a few. I'm just moving these photos along because Moose decided to sit there, and obviously his fur or floof is just sat on all the photos. So yeah, so that is the photos that I've printed. So there's 6 batches. These photos, I don't know if it's because I left them in a box and potentially could have been got a bit of sunlight on them, but they're a little bit curved. They'll be fine once they're in the dark, and obviously I put them in their little binders and stuff like that. They will go back to normal, but also they were slightly stuck together again because I don't know if I didn't get them out straight away, but they were quite sticky. I don't know if it was staticness or just, yeah, I don't know. I just had to sort of make sure that I wasn't putting down 2 rather than 1. And so it took me a little while to sort these out compared to my other set that I did a couple of months back. But I really love sorting these photos out. It's quite therapeutic. And as I said, a lot of them were actually in order. But there was some where it was like one of one and one of the other. So it was backwards and forwards. But as I said, it's quite therapeutic to sort them out and get them all organised. But yeah, I'm looking forward to doing some of these albums as soon as I sort of get through my backlog. So this is all 2024. Obviously I'm still on 2023. I have Poland to do, Mykonos and Tinos, Romania, Luxembourg, and then Orlando and the Bahamas before I even start on this one. Well, these sets. So yeah, I've got a lot, and as I said before, I really want to try and make a bit of a dent in it so that my wedding photos don't get too pushed back. I'd like to get those in albums, and obviously I'd like to get my honeymoon documented pretty quickly as well, but I'm not going to rush them. I don't want to rush them. I enjoy doing them, and I'll be really annoyed with myself if I look back and think I should have done this better, I should have paid more attention, I should have added a bit more, because that's not what it's about. Like, there will be a time in my life where I've gone through a quiet stage, and so I'll be looking for something to do, and I just don't feel like I should rush this, because as I said, it's one of my favourite things to do and I enjoy doing them, so why rush them? It's always better to do it properly rather than just rush and not enjoy them. So I'm not going to be rushing them, but as I said, after the wedding I will have a lot more time to sit down and do them, and I've noticed that actually I can do them pretty quickly when I'm in the zone. When I don't feel like I've got anything to do and I'm just sort of taking my time, I can get through them quite quickly, because I get into like a pattern. I find that if I've got spending lots of time on one album, I sort of lose my motion as such, and I forget where I was, and I don't know, I just sort of get in a bit of a flow if I'm doing it all at once. I found that with my wedding prep album, because it's taken me like 18 months to do, because obviously it's over a period of time, I don't feel like it flows as nicely. Like, I enjoy the album and I know I'll be looking forward to looking back at it and thinking of what I've done over the 18 months, but it doesn't flow quite as nicely as all my other albums, because I don't take obviously 18 months to do an album. I normally take a month or so. So it's it just doesn't flow as nicely because I'm not spending so much time on it. Like I'm doing a page every couple of weeks and stuff, and that's not the way I normally do it. So I sort of lose focus, and then I forget ideas, and it's all a bit mix match in my wedding prep album, which I'm fine with, but I do feel like I have pulled out too many collections and too many different things that everything's just a bit different. But it's fine. As I said, I enjoy the album. I like it. I like the fact that it's a little bit messy and a bit unorganised, because that is wedding planning at the end of the day. You just take things as they come, and it's quite nice to sort of experiment and do bits and pieces rather than, as I said, maybe doing the same thing over and over again. And I've really enjoyed using a project lifestyle for it. I think that was the best thing for me, really, in terms of that album, because I think I would have struggled with my normal travel scrapbooking style, because it's not that sort of scrapbooking. It's some pages have a few different things on there, and that's quite difficult to do on a scrapbook page because you've got so much information and so many different things like receipts and leaflets and stuff like that, and sometimes it can get a little bit too busy. So the pockets sort of separate them a little bit, and I just feel like it's definitely the right album that I did for it. And I think I'm just going to have enough pocket pages for it. It might be a little bit tight at the end, but I am pretty close to it, being bang on, so I'm happy about that. So with these photos, because I had 6 sets of photos delivered, I can actually put each batch into a paper envelope and then put them in the corresponding pocket for the trip. So I've just put Monaco in there. Alicante is going to go in a envelope and into that pocket. Now the problem is that now the photos are here, all these pockets do not fit in my drawer with all my projects to do, so I've had to sort of stack them up a little bit. But yeah, so then this one I decided to put my hen do in there. As you can see how many photos there are, there's 160 photos there. That's going to go in there, and and into the pocket, as I said. And it's just satisfying. It's so satisfying to print these photos off and get them in those. And then it's really satisfying to go into your drawer and take out a project and start working on that. And, I don't know what anyone else thinks, but when you pull things out to use for a project that you've maybe not used for a long, long time, it's just satisfying to see like an empty sheet of stickers and, you've used things up, and I just love it. I really enjoy it. And it's so nice to finish something and move on to the next thing. And so I'm just putting my London ones into these little pockets. So I do have a little versions obviously for the smaller trips. So I've got one for London and I've got a yellow one for Bridlington. So that's going to go in there. But that is everything. So the next set of photos will be pretty much my wedding ones. But I just want to get a little bit organised so that I can get ahead a little bit. So I hope you've enjoyed. Bye.